Metron believes that history repeats itself endlessly, like a never-ending loop. He thinks this cycle needs to stop. Wilson Morgan got sick with the Amazo virus, but unlike most people, he didn't lose his superpowers after it was cured. When his neighbor's daughter was kidnapped with a gun, he decided to find her himself. Even though he has superpowers, he's just a regular guy. When he tried to save her, he got shot. As he's dying, he suddenly gains the power to see Metron. Metron doesn't really care about the dying man. He's more worried about a big war that's coming. If it happens, it could mess up history so badly that reality might not be able to handle it. If there's no reality left for him to watch, Metron doesn't have a reason to exist anymore. Even though he's been told not to interfere, he's broken that rule before. Once, in an alternate world, when Apocalypse and New Genesis were fighting, Metron went against his promise. He used his Mobius chair to step in and talk with Darkseid from Apocalypse. Metron had an idea. He suggested that Darkseid and his enemy Highfather swap sons. This was to stop them from fighting each other. Darkseid said he wouldn't stop fighting, even if his son was on New Genesis. But Metron pointed out that it would stop Highfather, who cared more, from attacking Apocalypse. Darkseid agreed to the plan. Highfather didn't want to give up any of his sons, but Metron lied and said it was the only way to stop the war. Hearing what they were talking about, young Scott Free begged Highfather not to pick him. But in the end, it was Scott who went to Apocalypse. Metron knew that even though Scott sacrificed himself, many would still die. Orion questions why his father didn't come, to which the general responds that Darkseid knows Orion is capable of standing on his own without his father's presence. Orion warns Scott that crying won't help him survive on Apocalypse. As the son of Highfather, he predicts Scott's downfall, and vows to destroy New Genesis, while proudly declaring his identity as Darkseid's son. Darkseid's son, Orion, was wild and hard to control, but Scott suffered a lot in the slave camps on Apocalypse. Despite this, the agreement had been made, and whether Scott survived didn't matter, as long as it stopped the war. Years later, Metron saw a vision that shook him to the core. The Anti-Monitor had returned, and he could destroy entire universes. It was the first time that reality itself was in danger. In the crisis that came, many universes were destroyed. People made sacrifices, but in the end, everything collapsed. Thanks to the efforts of a few, the various universes came together to form one. For a while, Metron could watch this new world without any problems. But there were more dangers on the horizon. One threat aimed to devour history, tearing time apart and reconstructing it in a different way. Another event brought back the multiverse. Then, reality was reshaped when the Flash battled his biggest enemy, causing time to break apart in what's known as a flashpoint. Even though reality was reborn after that event, it hasn't fully settled and become stable yet. Metron suspects that the one who poses a threat to reality now is aware of this, as he comes closer to confront Metron on the destroyed remains of Earth 3. The Anti-Monitor, also known to Metron as Mobius, has come back, but Mobius dislikes it and doesn't want it used. Metron suggests calling him Anti-Monitor instead, indicating his preference for that name. Luckily, Metron is shielded from his antimatter assaults by the Mobius chair. Metron informs Mobius that as long as he sits on the chair, Mobius's antimatter powers can't harm him. Mobius responds that he sat on that chair long before Metron did. Metron confesses that while he's always been an observer, and Mobius has always been a destroyer, the process of rebirth is at risk, and reality won't make it through another crisis. The Anti-Monitor says he's not going to destroy reality, but Metron reminds him that he's already started by weakening reality so much that now Brainiac is heading towards causing a convergence of timelines. Metron proposes a deal between the two of them. He promises that if the Anti-Monitor stops trying to destroy reality, he'll stop observing and focus on helping the Anti-Monitor return to his former self. Coldly, the Anti-Monitor replies that Metron doesn't have the power to do that, but he already knows who does. He plans to break the cycle of destruction by himself. He's already discovered how. Metron cautions that if Mobius chooses this path, he'll have to deal with Darkseid's anger. Out of the blue, Omega beams destroy the Mobius chair, and he warns that he wants to start a war with Darkseid. His death is the crucial factor. And even though he's lost his way of traveling, Metron will watch, as the era of the new gods comes to an end. The era of the anti-god will soon start. Metron looks up and realizes that the one who destroyed the Mobius chair is actually Darkseid's daughter. She wants to see him dead.